Welcome into an interview edition of the FutureSox Podcast. My name is Elijah Evans, and I'm really excited today to be joined by Christian Oppor of the Kannapolis Cannonballers, a left-handed pitcher within the White Sox organization. Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you taking the time.
Of course, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. We're excited to talk to you. There's a lot of buzz going on. Obviously, this is your first 5 games of affiliated ball after being in the complex league last year. We'll get into kind of some of your developments. Some of the stuff we talked about in the spring, and just kind of break through what you've been doing. But we'll start with today because we're recording on May 7th here on Wednesday. You just finished up a start against the Carolina Mudcats, which is one of the top team in the Carolina League right now. So a competitive lineup. How is your stuff feeling today, and how are you just kind of attacking that lineup so far today?
Yeah, stuff was all right. Couldn't really figure it out in the bullpen before the game, so I kind of wanted to establish a heater as the game went on, and they were lucky to get themselves out after some hard hit balls, but it was starting to play a little bit and ended up working out in the long run. Only let up one run.
Yeah, that's a pretty talented lineup there. They've got a handful of top 100 pedigree guys. They've got a lot of young international and high school draft picks of theirs. What was some of the keys you said establish the heater, obviously, but what were the things you were really trying to hone in on facing that type of lineup today?
Definitely after the first inning, when I seen they were just a lot of them were just sitting heater. Try to get early with the off speed and then get them late with the fastball, and ended up working for a lot of it, getting themselves out, being able to get some rollovers early in the counts and get a couple punchies.
Yeah. Anybody in particular there that you felt was giving you kind of a really tough at bat, whether it was just the guys that were sitting the heater or just guys that were working the counts against you particularly well?
Definitely, Marte was pretty good. I always heard and knew he was pretty good. So him, but other than that, I don't know who the second guy in the lineup was. The righty, he was. I feel like he was a
Yeah.
good AB, and I feel like I couldn't really miss my spots when he was up to bat either.
Yeah, nice, man. Okay, well, let's go back a little from today and track back a little to last year and then the off season, of course. So last season you were in Arizona. We talked a little this spring training when I was catching up with a bunch of guys in Arizona, just kind of what you were working on, working through some things. What do you think? That whole season spent in Arizona. You talked to me about working with Sean Burke a little bit, kind of building up your extension, getting down the mound. Other guys you were working with when you were in Arizona. What did that kind of experience of in your first full year, just be there, really honing in on your craft, do for you in terms of preparing you for this season?
It definitely helped a lot being able to have the coaches there and being able to get some advice from some of the big leaguers now that are playing in the show, having them come down and be with us. Definitely taking advice from them, and the mechanics started working out, getting some tips, and now it's paying off.
Nice, man. I know. I think a lot of people want to see, instant results, obviously, but sometimes it's a process, right? It takes some time to figure things out. And I know it's been a little while now since you were drafted in summer of 23 and you're making your affiliated debut here in 2025, right? But there is a lot to work through and to figure out in that time between then and now, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. Like, if you can't figure it out, it's kind of hard to move up. And then they kind of want to make sure that you're officially ready to get sent out. And it definitely helped a lot because I feel like if I went out there this year with how I was last year, I don't know how good I would have done because
Yeah.
a lot of things were messed up. Being able to do a lot of drills and get my time and a rhythm down back in AZ helped a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So this offseason, we talked a little about your arsenal and everything, and what you were kind of up to with that. But you added a cutter you mentioned, and then you also said you really revamped your changeup this offseason. What has that done for you so far, and how much have you used that cutter so far?
Actually, they got rid of the cutter. They kind of got rid of it.
Interesting.
I threw it back a little bit during spring training. We were like, hey, let's just really focus on these first 3 pitches that I had since I got here. And ever since then, if I can start dialing those in, we can
Yeah.
maybe eventually add something else. But the changeup, I switched the grip a little bit, just moved my fingers over a little bit, and even though I can keep the same arm speed, it's still a big differential in speed, and it's moving how it's supposed to and
Nice.
it's working out a lot.
Gotcha. That's cool. The changeup, it definitely seems like you've, employed it in your arsenal a lot this season and been able to feel comfortable throwing it. Is that a pitch you feel like you're able to attack both sides of the plate with at this point?
Yeah, when I first got drafted, it was kind of just like a secondary. My fastball was definitely the highest played pitch in my arsenal, and now I feel like my changeup is starting to get a lot better. I'm able to get out front. It's kind of like a reset pitch, being able to get out front with all my pitches when I
Yeah.
throw the changeup. And if I can start throwing it to both sides, it definitely will play a lot better off my fastball and slider.
Yeah. So talking about your full arsenal, kind of diving into things, and then we'll get into how the season has progressed for you. Fastball and is it more of a sweeper or a slider? Because I see it more as a sweeper, but I know it kind of depends what you call it at this point, right?
Yeah, so it is a sweeper.
Yeah.
It's trying to get a little more H break on it. So
Yeah. Makes sense. So you've got that arsenal, right? So you're primarily working with those three. Is it for you? Is it typically, the easier comfort thing would be, the lefties get more of the sweeper and the righties get more of the changeup, obviously. Do you think it's been, a continual process throughout these first handful of games, starting to work both with both the sweeper and the changeup against each side?
yeah, I like it. Being able to throw them with both sides, it really sets off a lot of other pitches that I can mix in. Being able to throw a slider, backdoor, and then being able to throw a fastball that moves off that, or like a changeup that moves off that. Being able to do that, throw them to both sides, it helps out a lot. Being able to make rollovers, swings and misses, and all different types of stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And then with the fastball, right? Like your fastball, I think has ticked up a little in velo from what I remember it kind of being listed as early on. What were some of the keys for you to really just continue to build that fastball, not just from the velo, but also the movement on it has been really strong this season too.
So a lot of it was when we were working on AZ, being able to get the mechanics down and all the timing and everything, and being able to do that, my velo was able to go up a little bit, and same with the averages. That was a big thing. My in AZ velo during the game, as the game would go on, it would start to go down, and now being able to hold the velo and then being able to throw the all the change ups and sliders off that, it's playing a lot better.
Yeah, nice. I mean, you were at least from this is from I had some numbers from your earlier games this season where you were sitting in that 94, 95 range, topping up at 97, right? And it's a natural two seam, right, for you. I don't think you throw much of a four seam at all. Is that right?
Yeah, I try to grip it like a four seam, but with my arm slide and
Yeah.
the tilt and everything on the ball, it definitely tends to run a lot more than just a regular four seam.
Interesting. So you do grip it like a four seam though. That's interesting.
It's like, yeah, I grip it like half four seam, half two seam. I try to grip it
Okay.
more on the four seam side, but that's just what feels comfortable in my hand.
Yeah, very cool. That's interesting to hear. Yeah, I mean, all your stuff moves. Obviously, it's been moving well. I mean, you don't. It doesn't seem like you have anything that's not moving, significantly horizontally. Whether it's obviously the changeup and two seam going arm side, and the sweeper going the other way. You started out the season pitching in that FutureSox showdown, and then you kind of rolled in from there into your five starts so far in official games for Kannapolis. What was that like for you to kind of get the chance to start that game and really just get to shine amongst a ton of top White Sox players in the system?
Yeah, going to that Future Sox game was definitely one of the really cool things. I was able to get like a nice stepping stone and be able to, knowing that like it didn't count really, but at the
Right.
same time, like you still wanted to perform and really do really good. So when I got into my first actual game, it wasn't really that like big hype, like adrenaline's really pumping. Obviously, it still was, but at the Future Sox game, it was definitely at its peak.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then you kind of you had that moment, right, where you're facing guys that are have a lot more experience than you in the minors too, and then you roll into your first start in Kannapolis where you struck out 10 across no hit innings, 4 2/3. What was that like for you to kind of just get your first official minor league start under your belt and really dominate in that start?
Yeah, everything was kind of playing
Yeah.
that game and for sure in Lynchburg, and being able to have all my stuff definitely helps out so much more. Being able to land all my pitches, and that day is just landing everything. I was hitting spots and ended up
Yeah.
getting 10 strikeouts that day.
Yeah, building off that start, right? Like you had some ups and downs. Right, that second start, you got hit around a little bit. Comparatively, still not a bad game overall. And then since then, you've been kind of cruising through. 5 innings, a couple 5 inning starts, being able to complete that fifth inning. I know is a big step for a lot of guys. What are some of the differences from start to start you've experienced with your pitches this year? Has there been certain pitches that have been consistently good, or is there things that have kind of been up and down for you as you keep working?
So changeup's obviously going to be usually always there for me. That's the pitch that's like, all right, I can throw this in any count and I can be able to reset myself and get all my other pitches down.
Yeah.
But slider is definitely still a work in progress, and it's coming along a lot better than what it did in spring training. And just being able to stay through the ball, especially with my fastball, it's starting to play a lot better than what it did.
Nice, and that's a pitch that it's been mostly there for you, even when it's come and gone at times.
Yeah, the changeup's definitely like by far one of the pitches to where like it just feels so comfortable in my hand, or where like I
Yeah.
can throw it at the same arm speed and it comes out really well.
And have you changed? Did you change the grip with the changeup at all? Because I know you said you kind of revamped it a little, but was it a different grip on the changeup, or are you kind of just tweaking it over time in the past year?
It was kind of like my pointer finger and middle finger were Sorry, yeah, my pointer finger and middle finger were on the seams, and now it's kind of just my
Yeah,
middle finger and index finger
nice.
on the seams. That's really about it. Being able to do that, and it comes off a lot easier.
Just playing with the pressure a little bit on the finger
Yeah,
points. Yeah,
that's it. Just holding it a little lighter, and it's starting to
yeah.
work.
Very cool. Is there anything that you kind of, 5 starts under your belt, right? Long season ahead of you, of course, as you continue to build up those innings, make those starts every week on Wednesdays. Is there any particular things that you're really honing in on, trying to focus on still growing? I know you mentioned a few things, of course, but anything that the staff is working with you on, or just things you're trying to continue to refine as a pitcher?
Yeah, definitely. Like obviously, my mechanics is probably one of the biggest things. If I
Yeah.
can hone that in, like keep the same arm speed and arm angle and tilt and everything, like everything's going to come off really well. So I think that's one of the biggest things: staying connected with all my pitches and being of the same rhythm and arm path with everything. It'll start to play out a lot better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is it a bit of an arm slot thing? Do you find the release point to be something that you're kind of keying in on? Because I know there's a lot of guys as you kind of develop and you continue to work through mechanics. I've talked to a handful of pitchers who do have not a major issue, right, but have trouble at times maintaining the same arm slot for with off speed versus their fastball.
Yeah, definitely being young. I just need a lot more reps. I feel like that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing. Just being young, need more reps. It'll definitely start to match up and become closer together, which will be a lot better.
Nice. That's awesome, man. For you, are you the type of person who, has goals for yourself, or are you really just kind of staying with your routines, trying to build up? Is there any, particular goals you have, or is it just that continual growth that you talk about?
I kind of just look at it now like continual growth. Like last year in AZ, I
Yeah.
think I was like, when I start pitching good, like I kind of expect some things, but now it's like if stuff starts going well, like everything's going to start working out together.
Yeah. What's it been like for you kind of getting used to the staff in Kannapolis and then just the team you've got there? A really talented team overall, top to bottom. Some of the recent draft guys, some of your draft class guys, a handful of, international players. How's the energy been there so far?
Oh, it's great. I mean, ever since the start of the season, we started out kind of hot. So we're starting to roll through just above 500, I think, or somewhere around there. And the energy is great. Being able to get some advice from the older guys, especially with Doris and Chad and Darius,
Yeah.
all of them being young too. It's kind of like helps out a lot because they can all relate a lot better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Any pitchers that you've been, whether it's just throwing with or just watching that you've really been able to connect with or just, teach each other some things throughout this first month or so?
My buddy Carlton Perkins, we play catch.
Piggyback you today. There you go.
Yeah,
That's cool.
every day. We always play catch together. We try to make sure, like, hey, like, is this look good? Like, when I'm throwing this in catch play, like, is it moving like how is it supposed to? Is everything the same? And we kind of just work back and forth with each other. And then if something's really outstanding, like, we'll try to take it to one of the coaches and be like, hey, like, I noticed this, or like, maybe he's not doing this or something well. And I'll try to talk to him, and we communicate a lot with that.
That's awesome. That's good. You guys, that was a pretty strong performance from the both of you today. Him coming right off of you in that game. I'm sure that's a cool experience. Obviously, to have a good friend that you guys get to pitch in the same games together, right?
For sure, always. When
Yeah.
when your buddy comes in, got your back too, it's always one of the best feelings.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Because this is your first time on the pod, I like to give people a chance to get to know themselves a little beyond just the baseball field. Obviously, we dove right into the pitching stuff, and that's what I love talking about and hearing about the pitching mindset from guys. But for you, what are some of the things outside of baseball that you enjoy doing and just fill up your time with?
I love hanging out with the guys at the houses. It's always fun being able to chill in the living room, watch the basketball games and everything like that. Play a lot of games, a lot of video games. A lot of my buddies back home from college and high school and all of that. So it's always fun to be able to communicate with people back home that started it all. So it's kind of fun.
Of course. What are the go-to games for you?
Right now, it's kind of just MLB The Show, a little Warzone. Every once
Classic.
in a while, I'll hop on Fortnite. Kind of just comes and goes. So
A good mixture. Keep it going there.
yeah,
Nice, man. That's awesome. Well, yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. We're looking forward to it. Obviously, it's been a great start to you, and I think there's a lot to come. So thanks for taking the time to just check in with us, and looking forward to seeing you pitch the rest of the season in Canny.
thank you for having me again.
Yeah.